Hi everyone, I'm Aygul, the founder of growthyears.com, and I'm excited to share this new series of interviews with amazing individuals who have taken gap year or sabbatical. Through these conversations, we will explore their experiences and how it shaped their lives, what they have learned along their way. Whether you are thinking of taking your own growth year or curious, these stories will inspire you and it will help you to follow your path. Don't forget to subscribe for more insights and tips. And today, I'm excited to introduce you to Stan, who has taken amazing gap year on Bali. Stan lives in Moscow. I live in New York, and I spend in Moscow significant time of my life. So, Stan, welcome, and please tell us a few words about yourself.
Hello, Aygul. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for having me here. It's a pleasure to meet again. And um, well, as far as my journey is concerned, so to speak, primarily I have been working as a university professor and as a scholar, a linguist. I've been teaching English and German at a Moscow university for the last 14 years, I'd say. And well, there were the moments in my life when I decided kind of to reconsider what I've been doing. And I was really looking for a totally new place where I could reflect a lot on my life and find some ways to improve it. This place was Bali.
How wonderful. It sounds like a dreamland for me. So what motivated you actually to take this gap year? What were your thoughts? Anything that, I guess it didn't happen just overnight, right? What really triggered you to go to Bali to take a gap?
Yeah. I suppose any person has some kind of crisis, goes through some personal crisis in their lives, and that was the case with me. Several years ago, I got divorced. I had a burnout at my work, so I didn't feel very much satisfied by what I was doing. Although actually I was one of the leading professors at the university, I suddenly realized that what I was doing kind of didn't make a lot of sense for me, and the crisis got deeper. Later on, I spent some time um, searching for my new path, searching for the new meaning of life, and uh, looking for my calling, so to speak. I kind of felt intuitively that I needed to go to Bali. Funnily enough, prior to that, well, yeah, I'd heard something about the island. And I had some friends who said a lot of positive things about the island, about the transformations that people went through there. But I didn't think about it too much. I led myself by this feeling and realized that I needed to go there. Although I didn't have a kind of a very, very meticulously thought through plan.
Mm-hmm.
Still, I felt that it was a place where I could become stronger, wiser, and happier.
It sounds like you had a soul calling going to Bali. It's such a really, what we read and hear a lot. It's very place where people find uh, transformative experiences there. How did you prepare for the gap year? What was the biggest challenge for you for planning, embarking on the gap year? Did you realize that you're going to take gap year actually?
Oh, well, almost not. Actually, it happened almost overnight. So just before my birthday, and you probably know well that just a lot of important things happen before our birthdays, yeah, or several days after. That's what many spiritual people say, actually. Um, so a couple of days before my birthday, I felt really strong about this decision to go to Bali. And actually, it was just a week before the new term at university. The challenge was to ask for a sabbatical, to ask my boss, the manager of the language department, for a sabbatical. And I had a lot of thoughts in my head. My inner voice was telling me, probably not my inner voice, but my mind was telling me, are you insane? It's just a week before the new academic year. It's so easy to say, no, no, we're not going to find anyone to replace you. So what are you doing? That's just insane, yeah? But some inner voice told me, don't be afraid. Just go and tell her. At first, I wanted to make up something, some kind of reason that I wasn't feeling good, that I was just, that I needed to take some time to restore myself after the divorce, etc. But again, the intuition, when I was there in her office, said, tell her the truth. And my reaction was like, what? Because my boss was kind of a Soviet-style lady, very tough and uncompromising. But as soon as I told her that it was my spiritual path and that I needed to go there to develop my talents and to find my true calling, she just said, no problem. Of course.
Wonderful.
Take a sabbatical. Yeah. What's happening? and then she shared her story. She said when she was in crisis too. Really, that's a huge surprise. And so this is how I got this opportunity. And as soon as I realized that it was, to me, it was clear it was one of 1,000 chances. I realized it was a lifetime opportunity. And then I very quickly created a kind of a rough plan to go there. In several days, I bought the tickets, found the lodgings, and in 2 weeks, I left Russia, and I was already in Bali.
Wonderful. Did you think actually? Okay, I understand that you have planned your trip, you bought the tickets, but have you thought how long it's gonna be? What are going to be your goals when you come back? What has changed for you? Did you think about it, or you just went?
Of course, I mulled it over because it's a very serious decision, and moreover, I'd never done anything like that in my life. So, of course, when I had worked in different global organizations, multinationals in business before joining the university. I'd been on some business trips in Europe, but it's a totally different situation, right? So when you go on a business trip for 2 weeks, okay, you just take the ticket, pack your bag, and that's it. But here I needed just to take all of my belongings, find a warehouse, put them there. Yeah. So there were a lot of logistical issues, if I may put it this way. Yeah. And of course, I thought of how am I going to earn money? Actually, that was a kind of a problem while I was there. But that was extremely valuable experiences. I got rid of a lot of fears, and I definitely became stronger. So I definitely become stronger. Mm-hmm.
You packed your stuff, you bought the tickets. It's all in 2 weeks. You spoke to your manager and you found yourself within 2 weeks on a Bali. You're in the airport. What happened then?
When I was there already, the first day, I had a lot of mixed feelings about this decision, because my mind had prepared for me a lot of fears. Mm-hmm. So, I was a little bit panicking about what I was going to do there, how I was going to find new people, new contacts for communication, for life, for trips, for anything. that was really important to go through such things. So now I understand I can survive in any country. A shift of mind, if I may put it this way. Yeah. So your mindset changes dramatically. Um, and so I pulled through.
So it's interesting that you say your mindset shifts. Indeed, that's what I also hear from other people who embarked on the gap year experience, and they say that they indeed they just started to appreciate many things in life much more. What actually, what were your three biggest revelations in this? Discoveries about yourself or maybe other people?
Well, the first one was that I understood that I didn't love myself enough. Although all my life prior to that, I believed, oh yeah, I love myself. I give myself enough amazing and delicious food. I can go to some luxury hotels, or I buy myself the latest model of, I don't know, MacBook or anything like that, or a car. Yeah. But then I started realizing that just there were some really simple pleasures in life that I forgot about, being living in a super dynamic city like Moscow, where there's a lot of hustle and bustle and people are in a kind of a rat race all the time. Yeah. So, and have to live their lives like, I would put it this way, like biocomputers. Yeah. Not like humans. That was one thing. The second one was about um, Balinese, so the people who live in Bali. It's not only that their culture is really rich and they have a lot of beautiful temples and very powerful energies on the island. So the spiritual people will understand what I mean. But at the same time, they can really appreciate life, and they are really friendly. They have kind hearts. So when you're in the street, if you smile to a Balinese stranger, very frequently you will see a very bright, radiant smile on their faces, and you can feel that it's sincere. It's just this kind of relationship. You're my brother, you're my sister. Yeah. So because we are humans. Although I've heard about this, but feeling it, sensing it yourself is a totally different story. And the third one, probably is the fact that sometimes, even in the most beautiful place on earth, you can feel homesick.
So you were missing home then while you were there, even though it was a very beautiful place. How many months did you spend on Bali, and what was your regular day on Bali during your gap year?
I spent there 7 months, and I didn't have any plan for to return, any particular plan. So I thought, okay, I'm going to Bali, I'm going to live there, and life will tell.
That's very brave. What did you do normally during your days there? Did you meditate? Did
Yeah.
you do some work, volunteer work probably?
hmm Yeah, well, different things. Most of my time I spent in Ubud, which is considered to be the cultural and the spiritual center of Bali. It's more or less in the center of the island. So there is no sea there, but there are lots of temples, and a lot of people come there to teach different spiritual courses, to do meditations, to help people who want to develop spiritually, to align with themselves. And I regularly attended different spiritual activities. So almost every day, I went to something like mini retreats or spiritual ceremonies. For example, Kundalini activation ceremony is really striking, and it can really boost your spiritual development. In the long-term perspective, it will have affect really positively your health, your mind. If someone has a constant train of thoughts, right, or is in depressive state of mind, unless it's something really medical, some kind of medical state. Well, it really helps to align with yourself, which happened to me a lot. So some other things that actually build my days, if I may put it this way, well, I did some sport there. There are a lot of modern sports facilities. I think I got to know 100 people there in these 7 months. Yeah, because the international community there is really strong, and you can find almost anything to your liking. No matter what you want to do, whether you want to develop spiritually, or you want to boost your creativity, or you want to do something for your health, or you just want to find like-minded individuals. So it's not a problem. I don't want to speak about the whole of Bali, so different parts of the island are a little bit different. But if you go to Ubud, like I said, so the community there is really strong. So, and you will never get bored. Apart from doing some mental work and some spiritual work, which you probably want to come to the island for.
What is your favorite memory of your trip to Bali?
Well, it's really hard to pick the most important one, but I'd say that I met there a few friends. The meetings with the long conversations on some really profound subjects, well, they were amazing. But there, it just happens all the time, because Bali gives you the opportunity to be in synchronicity with the other like-minded people there, and give you a lot of energy, inspiration, and help you develop. What else? Well, there are a lot of places with splendid vistas, amazing views, so you can enjoy the nature, and in this way, you can also restore the peace of mind. You can meditate in rice fields, amazingly beautiful temples, or go to some Indonesian shows where you can tap into the culture of the local people. Yeah. I didn't do any volunteering, actually, but I think if I come there once more, I would participate in that, because that would be this is really a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah, and I hear that this obviously was very transformative experience for you. When you came back, did you realize that something has changed inside of you and in relationship with your family, your work, your colleagues, friends? What has changed?
Yeah, well, there were actually a lot of changes at different levels. Firstly, my relationship with my parents dramatically improved. So now we spend much more time together, and we understand each other much better. So we have a much better contact, because my family, well, of course they love me in their own right, but they didn't give me a lot of emotional love when I was a child, and so we didn't have a kind of a very strong connection, unfortunately.
It's very common in Russian families, actually, in Soviet Union.
Yes, exactly. So when your parents think that, and we cannot judge them, because they were treated in the same way in their families when they were children. Yeah, so they think that children need primarily food, clothes, education, and just kind of normal atmosphere. That's it. Yeah, but giving a lot of love, touches, yeah, so hugs, and giving support, psychological support, emotional support. It's not the thing which is kind of normal, or was normal. Now, of course, everything is developing, and more and more people want to give more emotional love to their children. Yeah, but this kind of thing wasn't present in my family, and as soon as I had a much more profound look inside myself while being in Bali, it helped me to be more sincere with my parents, even when I had to tell them some hard words that I didn't want to hear, to tell them the truth about some things. And at some point, we had even some conflicts, but when they realized that I was telling the truth, so now it's normal for me to have a very long conversation over the phone with my dad or with my mom. But previously, just they listened to me. They just said something like, "Oh, how are you?" And I started sharing the details of my life, and it was just a minute. And then they said, "Okay, thank you very much." So, and they were unable to kind of to maintain this communication. Yeah, but now it has improved. Another aspect is that I actually in much better contact with my true nature. I understand myself much better, what I really want in life, what kind of a relationship I would like to build, and the things related to business activities as well. So there is more clarity about how to live my life. I think it's really a serious, a serious thing. So I'm very happy about this.
Sounds really amazing, and that's I think what everyone wants to have in their lives is clarity and being sincere and connected to your friends, family, your parents. It's wonderful. Do you think there was anything that surprised you about yourself during this gap year? Something like you thought, oh wow, I didn't realize I have it in me. I didn't know that I can do it. So, or maybe other people, what surprised you the most?
Yeah, I'd taken a course in healing before that. And I gave some healing sessions to people. But what I experienced in Bali was slightly different. So I was really surprised about my abilities. Just the situation was that an acquaintance of mine who also lived in Bali once felt that so he had a strong pain in his throat and he wasn't able to sleep at night, and because while doing some yoga practices, his body remembered about the fact that he had some that he had loved a woman who didn't respond to him in the same way, and he had forgotten about it. But the body remembers everything, and so these negative feelings were activated. This disappointment about that situation, and so it literally affected his health in the moment. And so I asked him when I found out about his state of health and his poor psychological state. I said I offered my help, and I came to the place where he lived, and I did a healing session for him. I worked as a medium, so he was able to express his feelings to the woman, and in the moment he said that he had relief, so he didn't feel such a strong pain there in his throat. And I did it also in the room where there was another person. I didn't think it was possible, because it's such a fine thing, such a subtle thing, and that guy he lived actually with that friend of mine in the same room. And I couldn't tell him, "Oh, please leave the room," because that was his room too. Yeah. And so I had to do the whole thing, the whole healing session, just in the presence of a person who didn't belong. But it worked perfectly well. And in a couple of days, just the guy said that he didn't have any symptoms anymore. He was totally healed.
Wow, it really sounds very interesting. It's like a magical enchanted island, and it's just yeah, it's very spiritual place, obviously, and yeah, it sounds like a very interesting experience and very unusual indeed, surprising. Our listeners might be also considering taking a gap year and maybe sabbatical. What would you advise? What would you recommend them to consider in preparation, in breaking the news to the family or colleagues, in planning?
Mm-hmm. I would recommend firstly to weigh all the pros and cons, to consider different places. Although I definitely vouch for Bali, but at the same time, we are all different, and it's important to consider different places and see all the advantages and disadvantages. You need to listen to your heart. That's the most important thing. Focus on your intuition. That's one thing. It will help you to make a firm decision, a kind of an informed decision, if I may put it this way. Then it's important to get people ready, because my parents were shocked when I delivered this kind of news to them, and I met a lot of resistance from their side. They used all possible methods to make me stay. Yeah, and some people from from the university, some colleagues were also shocked, and they were unable to understand my decision. Then, of course, it's important to think about the finances, so that you really feel confident that you have enough money for everything you need for this period of time. Otherwise, it may create a lot of stress while you're there. And of course, it's very important to have a clear intention. So when you go there, you need to have a clear intention on why you're going there, what you want to achieve. But at the same time, you shouldn't have a lot of expectations. Because again, it will create a lot of stress and maybe disappointment if you don't achieve something. But Bali is a place where a lot of magical things happen, but at the same time, it's the place where it's the most, where controlling things is the most difficult thing you can do. You're kind of in the flow all the time, more or less. So that's why you shouldn't have a lot of expectations, so that you really enjoy the experience.
Very interesting that you say that, because when I spoke to some other people who are now on the gap year journey, or they are going to embark on it, and they are just what they say, that they have sort of anxiety sometimes. What if I just waste this year or several months, and I am no way further than than I am now, or even I'm making steps back in my career, in my relationship, in my life. What if I'm just doing everything wrong? So and what I hear from you, it's just for at least for the place like Bali, right? Like, you have to trust this universe, this island as well, that it will lead you to a better place in your life. But this anxiety itself, how did you on top of the fact that you have just trusted your intuition, how did you work on that, on this anxiety?
Yeah, that's a very important point, actually, to discuss. I agree. Because sometimes people have this idealistic impression of Bali, that it's just a beautiful place, and you'll only enjoy it like a paradise. But maybe not only this, yeah, because it's still life, yeah, and you'll have to kind of to face your demons sometimes, your own inner demons, so to speak, yeah, and to be strong enough to expand your comfort zone. I wouldn't want to say leave your comfort zone, but expand your comfort zone, and going into new things can be sometimes scary. I suppose just the main thing is that you leave enough space for yourself to relax and to reflect on things. And if you have there someone who can help you to get to grips with this, with a new situation, of course, if you have some kind of a guide, it will definitely be easier for you in all ways, logistically, mentally, psychologically, because you will really be centered on yourself, on your targets, and what kind of person you want to become. Yeah, that's the main thing.
You know that we, growthyears.com, provide coaches and mentors for those people who are on the growth year path. Did you have any sort of support like this during your gap year? Maybe just a friend or somebody you met on Bali?
Yeah, that's right. So I really had a lot of support, and I'm extremely grateful to the people who helped me out when I was maybe sometimes in some difficult situations, or maybe sometimes I felt kind of depressed. Yeah. So, and of course there was not all the time. So there were different periods, but so sometimes it was hard just to cope with the things on my own, and I think it's really important to realize that sometimes you need help, and so you shouldn't be stuck on yourself. Just reach out. Well, some people can reach out to you and help you out. And so I had there a mentor, the services of whom I used for a while, and who supported me in different ways and helped me to find the right places in Bali, gave a lot of tips, and provided some emotional support by sharing their own life stories. Because actually, it's really important to have a person who can share their personal experience with you, and then you realize, no, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. It's just how can I put this? After night, the day comes. Always, it always happens.
There is always sun behind the clouds. So that's what they say, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you look back yourself 1 year ago and yourself now, what I hear from you, you're really happy about taking this gap year, and you feel that you benefited a lot from it. And is there anything you would do differently?
Although there were a lot of difficult moments, no, I wouldn't now change anything, because I understand that sometimes some difficult life lessons were important to have this change of mindset. Yeah, to trigger this kind of mind shift. So just not to be stuck in the same ways, and so no, I wouldn't change now anything.
It's great to hear it. And anything else you would like to add with people who are watching our YouTube channel?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I would like to wish a lot of luck on the path of self-study, of aligning with your true self. And I would like to say that if you take a decision to change your life and expand your comfort zone, and you think through the way you want it, I'm pretty sure you will grow immensely, and your life will never be the same in a good way.
Thank you. That's very inspiring. Thank you so much, Stan, for your time, and really appreciate everything
Thank
you
you very
shared
much.
with us. Thank you.
Thank you.